Enjoy the 4th of July while you still can. While we still have one. All right?
Why?
Because one way or the other, it's going away. I don't know which side will be responsible for it, but one way or the other,
She gone.
In what sense?
Well,
Because
if the Muslims take over, we ain't celebrating the 4th of July.
Are you telling me that out on the lake, every lake in Minnesota and Wisconsin, where we shoot off thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of fireworks, they're going to try to shut us down after we've been drinking all day?
You know, there are 200,000 Muslims in New York. I'm quoting directly from Zohran Mamdani, who just won the Democrat nod for mayor's race. And I was listening to videos of him this morning, and I was careful. They're real ones. And he said, there's 200,000 Muslims registered to vote in New York City. There's really no reason why they shouldn't also be in City Hall, meaning filling positions in the political class, which is fine. Everybody has a right to run and hold office. But he envisions a country that we don't live in at the moment. He envisions a different situation. He follows, in fact, goes beyond the tenets of the Democratic Socialists of America platform. Well, Democratic Socialists of America, for example, are very lenient on crime. And I think he has something to say about that.
Oftentimes, we've even found as legislators, when we go into these courts, the term violent crime is even used when people are stealing packages. Violent crime is even used when people are accused of burglary and there happens to be a housing unit in that same dwelling. So violence is an artificial construction. And we have to be very clear that what is happening here with these district attorneys, that is violence. That is violence of the highest degree.
Well, what if the package was stolen at gunpoint? I'd call that a violent crime.
Right.
What if the burglary was committed at gunpoint? I'd call that a violent crime. And here is a fellow so steeped in the mystery, which is amazing. He hasn't even been here that long, but he's got it all down.
Yep.
Here's a fellow who believes that even the word violence is a construct. What have I been telling you about the mystery? The mystery is holding the belief that everything that we've honored and cherished and obeyed in our lives is merely an affectation. It's a construction of a flawed founding, right up to and including violence. Violence is merely made up by people. It's just made up. It doesn't exist. It's a construct. This guy is, if he gets elected, I can't imagine what's going to happen to New York City. I just can't imagine.
You're imagining a world where everybody's going to bow down and not resist him. And I mean, if he's going to say violence no longer exists and then true violence is going to break out, he's going to be the first one that goes down. I mean, it's a dirt sandwich for this guy.
Well, but I hate to see the world break up into this civil war.
Nobody wants that.
But this is ridiculous.
That's what's going to happen, though.
John, he said 200,000 registered Muslim. He used the word Muslim. Mm-hmm. Muslim voters in New York.
Okay.
And that got me thinking of what percentage of the population in Minneapolis is Muslim. And you discovered that it's about 1.4% of the state. 1.4 to 2% of the state.
Of the state, yeah.
Of Minnesota.
I found some Minneapolis numbers too, but you asked how many were Somali. You didn't say Muslim. So I looked up Somali.
Virtually all Somalis are Muslim unless I'm really mistaken.
Yeah, I think you're correct. But there's more Muslims than Somali people, obviously.
Well, it seems to me, what did you find for Minneapolis?
Minneapolis, the number of Muslims is somewhere between, and this is just me doing quick math, between 11 and 13% of the population is Somali. Minneapolis.
Is it safe to say, or am I on the wrong track when I say for that low of a percentage, they're holding a disproportionate amount of political seats in the legislature, the city council in Minneapolis? Is that an accurate statement?
Yes, I think so. Very disproportionate.
I forgot where I was taking that. Oh, I know where I was taking it. 62% of the registered voters in Minneapolis are white. 62% are white. It's hard for me to believe that 62% of the white voters are thoroughly progressive.
I'd agree. Yeah.
In fact, I don't know what percentage of white voters would be thoroughly progressive, but it seems to me that it's curious that the city council of Minneapolis, for example, is exclusively Mysterian, with maybe the exception of one person. They're exclusively Mysterian.
Yeah.
Now, I find it hard to believe that 62% of the white voters would find that agreeable. So, of the 62% of white voters, are not enough of them voting?
I think, that's a good assumption. I'd go with that.
Because the pattern that we've experienced in the last 5 to 10 years would suggest that Omar Fateh will win the mayor's race. Even though he's married to the corruption of the food fraud and
directly linked. Yep.
Now, I don't know what fate awaits Zohran Mamdani in New York. I don't know if people will come to their senses and realize we really don't want to be governed in this fashion. I don't know if they'll wake up. I don't know if New York's got a large Jewish population. You would think they would be entirely alarmed by this Muslim communist.
A lot of Italians. Just the Italians and Jews alone.
Right.
Be fun to know I bet that number's available.
Enjoy the 4th of July while you still can. Huh?
Well, I mean, people are going to perceive this conversation as, you're just 5 evil white guys that are right-wingers. But
because nobody thinks anymore.
But that's
nobody thinks what's happening to them. Nobody knows what's happening to them.
That's an easy reaction to the statement that was just made. Correct.
They don't have the AI overview, doesn't list Jews and Italians. It says 30.9 white, 28.7 Hispanic or Latino, 20.2 black or African American.
I don't know any Hispanics or Latinos who want to be governed by a communist Muslim.
And 15.6 Asian.
Well, let's just keep it back to here for a moment. It's, again, considering the path we've taken and what has happened to the electoral process, we all know there is no more. Minneapolis is a two-party town, the DFL and the DFL Mysterians. There is no other way to look at what's happening in Minneapolis.
It's almost like the way you look at a NHL box score. Wins, losses, overtime losses, shootout losses. Yep. That's how we have to analyze the DFL now.
Man,
are you a lefty or just a lefty?
Well, and we've